Good morning. My name is Anna Jacobs. I'm here to discuss the portfolio binder that we used for fieldwork. Currently, I'm an MSOT student at Kaiser University at the Fort Myers campus, and we are getting ready for our first fieldwork rotation. As we do that, we created a binder to kind of refer back to as we go throughout this process. For my assignment, this is my binder. My topic was coordination activities for children and adults. And let's get right into it. So last week's assignment was to create a Word document with abstracts, each article, about each article, paraphrase descriptions of that nature. And that is what I attached to the front of my binder. As you can see at the index, it talks about each topic that we'll go throughout these 3 tabs. And then I also attached the full document, full article, along with each abstract or paraphrase description in front of it. And we'll look into that the further we get into it. That's that full Word document there. I attached these little guys in the beginning of this tab for our research articles, interprofessional and OT related. Kind of got these guys doing a lot of ADLs like grocery shopping, holding too many things, exercising. These are all things, daily living tasks that require coordination. So first is my abstract for my first research article, talking about health services, the occupational participation in health. It kind of discusses the healthcare delivery costs and quality. I think this is extremely important to consider and look into and just know the laws and regulations behind as I enter into fieldwork. So this was a good and important one to start with. Second is a British Journal of Occupational Therapy. I just wanted to get a different perspective. It's talking about the years of occupational therapy. As we know, it's been around a very long time. So getting that different perspective, talking about how OT can gather this international research and kind of talk about the number of challenges that the profession goes through as a whole, not just over there. Abstract 3 talks about the executive functioning lens of occupational therapy for children and youth. We know that there are current or specific activities you can use with children, but you also can integrate with adults. We just have to be sure that they are meaningful to the client. So this kind of talks about using those executive functioning skills, starting those critical thinking skills, and as I know, going out onto fieldwork, I'm going to be searching for my therapeutic use of self. So this one was really good, and kind of just paying attention to their current occupational performance and what type of interventions can increase that occupational performance. So going on to interprofessional research article number 1, this talks about the role of occupational therapy or therapists and occupational therapy assistants. I think that's going to be a very good goal for me to set for myself, along with referring back to this article, because that's going to be a difficult transition for me. Going from a CODA to an OTR, I think it's important that I consider both of the roles and how they are appropriate while out on fieldwork and as I transition into an OTR. Full article behind that. Second one is that evidence-based practice, using those executive functioning skills, reasonings, strategies, and the appropriate resource to integrate the evidence that I find on the assessments that we're able to use and use it successfully. I want to pick and facilitate the right intervention strategies appropriate for that patient. We're not just looking at the population of children and youth and the population of the elderly. We are looking at the person holistically and what is meaningful and what can also help improve their occupational performance. So this kind of discusses that. Next, third article for my interprofessional researches talks about the challenges and opportunities in occupational therapy's role, also extremely important, something I need to refer back to. I'll be seeing new diagnosis, I'll be seeing different needs of certain patients, I'll be seeing assessment tools, I'll be seeing intervention methods. I want to understand those roles and responsibilities as an OT and help establish the best practice possible for that patient. And full article there. Very long one, so this one will be very important to look back at that study. Here on my second tab, I attached some upper and lower body coordination tasks. Exercise obviously is very important. This could be used for children and adults. Mainly this one's for adults, like Superman, crab walk, doing a lot of those different yoga type positions, twist jump, leapfrog, balloon volleyball, bear crawl, wheelbarrow walking, swimming, things that you can integrate with both adults and children, as long as it's appropriate to the client. So let's go into those internet resources. First evidence-based research document is using the evidence to promote occupational therapy. So client-centered occupational therapy is what we're shooting for. Especially this article kind of talks about it in older adults. So we want to improve their physical functioning and overall daily task performance. There's my evidence for that, or I'm sorry, my paraphrase description for that. And then moving on to the second document, this one discusses the visual motor integration skills, something extremely important in the younger population. They need this. This is a higher cognitive functioning skill, and I think the first thing I think of is elementary school aged children, reading skills, writing skills, even going to the playground, using the playground with their friends. So combining that visual information and along with the sensory processing skills with fine motor and gross motor movement, this document and this evidence-based practice kind of discusses activities you can utilize and different types of things to look out for with those types of children. The last research document was just something that kind of stuck out to me. It talked about graphomotor skills of first grade students. Just thought it'd be a different treatment strategy that I could look back on if I ever run into a child or even adult with writing or readiness issues, and kind of how to improve that, and picking the right intervention to do so. Second, in our internet resource tabs, I have the OT toolbox. I think this is extreme. This one's great. It talks about bilateral coordination activities. Bilateral coordination is something that requires both sides of the body. It can be for either population. It can be for younger children who are trying to catch a ball. It can be for older people who want to get their dishes out of the dishwasher. Either way, it requires both coordination from both sides of the body. You can have a child with cerebral palsy, or you can have a person, an elderly person who just is recovering from a stroke. Either way, they need to integrate both sides of the body, relearn, and these kind of show those, they give you activity ideas to utilize during your OT sessions. Couple are threading, lacing cars, coloring, writing, tying shoes, all using the vestibular system. So I think this will be great to refer back to. Second organization is my OT spot. So this woman, in her blog, I just want to quote this. Throughout her fieldwork experience, almost every OT patient was on an arm bike, pedaling away with little to no input from their treating therapist. Oh, something I saw in CODA school, and something I know happens. Sometimes therapists do it to gather their thoughts for the remaining. They know the pedal is a great way to warm and prep up for their elderly patient, or you can throw a coloring task at a child to kind of prep for the rest of your session. It happens. However, we want to definitely be sure to locate those meaningful tasks to the client specifically. So this OT spot was great in providing those strategies and appropriate tasks. Something I'll be looking back on. Last one is integrated learning strategies. This one teaches the balance and coordination activities of kids, kind of going along with that vestibular system. They usually become, entering into their youth, they end up usually using fine motor and gross motor tasks that and skills that are more complex. They use more of their brain rather than their body. And those activities become more challenging the older they get. So this one provides, this organization provides helpful information who can provide those balance and coordination activities to help improve more of their attention and focus in the classroom. So I will definitely be referring back to this as I enter my pediatric rotation. I'll be in the academic setting, so I think that'll be really good to kind of improve that and find a preparatory task and something meaningful and fun, especially for that younger population. My pamphlet number 1 for patient education is coordination, which makes sense for my topic. As I've discussed, a lot of children find it tricky to use both sides of the body, but not only that, but make their movements smooth and not so jerky. It can appear awkward the younger they are, and the more they develop those skills, they can develop more fine motor and gross motor abilities. This one's a great one. Provides those tasks, and I definitely activity ideas to use: ball skills, core stability, hand-eye coordination, balance, proprioception. A lot of fun things that you can use for children, mainly is what this one's about, but also the elderly population. That's a very full pamphlet. Second is Seniors Flourish. This one kind of talks about the older population and how to increase their gross motor and fine motor skills, and it just provides a lot of coordination activities to implement. Folding clothes, taking them straight to the kitchen and doing bathroom stuff, cooking, graded puzzles, weighted and strengthening grip tasks. So a lot of fun exercises here. Third pamphlet is called My Therapy Source. So many daily living skills require coordination at school. As I was discussing earlier, kind of the writing, holding your pencil, going out on the playground, that bilateral coordination and hand-eye coordination is essential to consider. So this one kind of gives you more of the physical activities to utilize in the pediatric population for the whole body. It doesn't have to just be in the fingers or the hands for writing, not just in the feet for jumping. It's utilizing that entire body, crossing midline, doing all sorts of coordination tasks all across the body. Last is my assessments. I did some fun little activities for the elderly population, a lot of them garden, do some yoga, color, cook. We even have some new virtual reality things happening in that older population, and chess. All require coordination and all something that would be meaningful to someone in that population. So the 3 assessments I chose was 9-hole peg test, where it will test, it's to develop and measure the finger dexterity. So it will test the upper extremity performance and estimate upper limb function. So I think this one will be great for the older clients who are suffering from a maybe post-stroke or left side neglect, things of that nature. The second one is Jebsen-Taylor hand function tests. It measures the fine and gross motor hand function using the actual simulated ADL activities. So if we're actually testing one's meaningful tasks, their IADL performance, and getting them to try to return home. I think this one is a great one to administer in a short amount of time to kind of see where they're at and what we need to do to get them to where they need to be to return back to what they enjoy doing. Last one's my P-body development motor skills, the PDMS2. This is definitely an in-depth assessment for the younger population, children into youth, more early childhood motor development that trains and remediates that gross and fine motor skills. This assessment has many subtests and things to assess where the children's at and how we need to adapt their physical capabilities and incapabilities to be able to improve their occupational performance. And here is my paraphrased description about each of those. And I also attached descriptions and scorecards from each of them so that I can refer back to this to figure out how to administer these, as I am new to all of this. And that is basically it. Going back to the MSOT, I also put this back in the front, the program textbooks, the chapters that I utilize, the MBCOT exam prep resources, the questions that had to do with coordination. As I found, the more I did study exams, a lot of questions can result back to this coordination in this topic. It's a very broad topic, and you need coordination to do your daily living tasks. So this is very important, something I'll be referring back to, something I hope my patients and my fellow students also take seriously, so that we can use the proper assessments to help them. And along with some of the questions that have been asked for us to complete, the most interesting about my information resources that I found was the different types of tasks, and almost the same that you can utilize with both populations. Doing a balloon volleyball would be just as fun and informal to somebody suffering from a stroke and sitting in a wheelchair as a 2-year-old on the other side of the net. I think those types of things make it fun, interesting, and those types of information and resources that I located, OT Toolbox, my OT Spot, and some of the research articles will really help me to take someone else's perspective and utilize it in my fieldwork experience. And the other is this template is benefiting me and hopefully my peers as I prepare for the fieldwork and the OT certification. I kind of went into that. The questions that I found as I looked for this in this assignment really all relate to coordination in some way. Each diagnosis and an injury almost require an increase in coordination. And it's important, like that one woman said in her blog, it's more than just pedaling on the bike. It's more than that. They have meaningful tasks. They have loved ones that they want to return to, and it's important to find something that makes therapy not so robotic and more fun. And I believe that is it. Yes, so this is how it will prepare me, and it will assist me for my exam, and I hope it assists others throughout the remainder of this program. And I appreciate everyone tuning in, and good luck as we transition to an OTR. Thank you.